Turns out I was absolutely, unquestionably correct about the Mizkif and Emiru situation that has been unfolding since last summer ish. Shortly after TwitchCon, Emiru heavily built up that she was going to finally expose Mizkif, hyped it up like crazy. So I watched the stream live, and immediately I had exactly the response that this legal document from Emiru's side is talking about, because what it's saying here is that a reasonable viewer of Emiru's stream would conclude that no SA occurred. And I would assume at some other point in this documentation or in future documentation, it will say that any reasonable viewer will also conclude that no stalking occurred. That she was just throwing out this term, and she wasn't saying that Mizkif committed an SA, that he SA'd her. She just threw that out and then explained what happened to her. And so the viewer must conclude, any reasonable viewer would conclude, oh, well, he didn't SA her. She's saying this guy SA'd me, and then describes herself not being SA'd. So that would mean that they would conclude that she was not SA'd by Mizkif. But that's not what happened. Like, this idea, it's a legal defense. And this is obviously the legal defense that any reasonable person also knew she was going to make. But it's patently ridiculous. Because what happened? What happened was Mizkif's entire career was nuked. And it's like I said from day one. Literally day one of Emiru doing her stream, I said publicly, this is false. What she has described, if you take everything she says, her word to be 100% true, then Mizkif did not SA her and did not stalk her. This is insanity. I can't believe she's doing this. This is disgusting because she's weaponizing terms like stalking and SA to destroy a man's career. Now, is Mizkif a douchebag? Absolutely he is. Is he a terrible boyfriend? Absolutely he is. Do I like Mizkif? I do not. I am not a Mizkif fan, but he is a person. He is a human being, as much as he often doesn't act like it. He is somebody who something terrible was done to. What Emiru did to Mizkif is terrible. If anyone in this situation deserves to have their career destroyed, it's Amber Heard Emiru here. Now, she's not as bad as Amber Heard, right? She didn't like publicly go and talk like Amber Heard did towards Johnny Depp, and she didn't like poop on his bed, and she didn't abuse Mizkif, right? Amber Heard abused Johnny Depp and like slandered him for years and like did enormous damage to his career, which has recovered, and Mizkif still is streaming, still is able to make money, but his career is massively affected by this. This is a giant negative impact, right? He used to be like a guy who was constantly collaborating with other live streamers all the time. Now that he can't do that, not only is he not at the level that he was before these false accusations, but he also wouldn't continue to grow like he obviously would have. So it's terrible what Emiru did here. Absolutely terrible. And yes, a reasonable person like myself saw through it from the first second. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked and stunned and disgusted watching Emiru's live stream because it just made no sense. I was like, oh my god, you hyped this up and you're crying, but what you're describing is mild. It's nothing. First of all, this SA, they're on a couch. They broke up. They are hanging out, probably talking, rekindling. There's clearly a build-up to this SA that isn't an SA. So they meet up as exes. They're talking about their relationship. They're making out on the couch. And Mizkif puts his hands down her pants. She says no. He's like, oh snap. He backs up, says, oh, I'm sorry. Like, sorry about that. And he leaves. Which is 100% what you're supposed to do in that situation. 100% what you're supposed to do. As soon as somebody expresses that they aren't giving consent, this is the perfect response to that. right? This is 100% what you're supposed to do. If you've made someone uncomfortable in such a way, dip out. That's what you're supposed to do. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Not only that, they dated for months after that. They dated for months after that. So, at the time, there's no way she felt like that was SA at the time. Or ever, realistically. She knows she was never SA'd. She knows she never truly felt like she was SA'd. Because she went on to date the guy for months. They banged for months afterwards. Yeah, there are freakish people out there who are like, well, technically, by the law, you're supposed to say, oh, may I take your shirt off? Yes, I give you consent to take my shirt off. Oh, take my shirt off. Oh, may I kiss you there? Yes, you may kiss me there. Well, like this idea that like every step of the process of hooking up with someone, there is this verbalized consent. No person on the planet does that. No person on the planet has ever done that. That's not a thing. It's never been a thing. Like, yeah, the reason that certain laws are, the letter of the law is super broad isn't to apply it to a situation where it's like the tiniest application possible, right? It's for when somebody repeatedly does a crime and to catch them in when they're committing multiple crimes at once, to tack it on. So then when somebody actually is committing SAs, to allow for them to catch multiple charges, so in hopes that some of them stick. So many times actual criminals just get away with crimes because the letter of the law allows it. You know what I mean? Like, think of a guy out there who's just going around essaying all these different women. You kind of want some loosely worded laws to be out there so they apply to that guy. Not someone who actually, like, unquestionably didn't SA one person on one occasion. That's crazy. That's stupid. That's not why those laws are written and worded so loosely. That's dumb. That's just, so many people just don't understand why laws exist or how laws exist. It's just insanity. And this whole situation is completely unhinged. And the thing is, this reasonable viewer, yes, me, and other intelligent people, from day one, from minute one of this, were like, what? You hyped this up this much, Emiru? You got to be joking me. You've got to be shitting me. You are just weaponizing these terms and saying this guy SA'd you when your own description of what happened is nothing close to SA. It couldn't be further from SA. In fact, this guy couldn't have been more respectful and decent in that situation. Oh my God. Outrageous, ridiculous, insane. And the stalking part is even more insane. That part had my jaw on the floor when she said that. Because she's like, this guy, he's stalking me and harassing me in the year that we've been broken up. And keep in mind, they dated for 3 years and lived together that entire time and basically sort of in a way worked together. So deep, intense, seeing each other every day type of relationship. A 3-year relationship that compared to most relationships would be the equivalent of like a 9-year relationship. So they break up for good. And within a year after them breaking up, he reached out to her through text message, through DM, through phone call, combined a total of around 40 times. I could have pissed myself laughing at how low that was. I'm like, what? I've had exes reach out to me 50 times in one day. More than one ex. I'm somebody who's dated a lot. Like, what? I've probably had exes reach out to me 1,000+ times in total across like a couple years. So 40 across 1 year in a 3-year serious relationship where you're living together and you worked together and you basically still work together after you break up. You're both in the same content org, in the same friend circle. Like, yeah, Mizkif went to Japan, then he went to LA, but they're still like have all these mutual friends that they collaborate with and basically work together. It's like these guys still work at the same place, essentially. And the 40 is hilariously low. I was shocked at how low of a number that was. Because like I said, I've had exes reach out to me 50 times in a day. Because like, it's astounding to me. A year. I've personally dated somebody where we went on 2 dates, and they're like, all right, this ain't working out. I don't really want to date you. And they reach out to me 50 times. 500 times in 1 year. And that was just with phone calls. I didn't keep track of the texts. They mostly tried to reach out to me through phone calls. But they would change their phone number, or use a friend's phone, or use a pay phone, because I would keep blocking their number, right? I had an ex, if you even want to consider 2 dates an ex, which I don't, but somebody who I screamed at on the phone, being like, I want nothing to do with you. Like, get it through your head. You have to stop calling me. This is stalking. This is crazy. 500 times in 1 year. 500 phone calls in 1 year. Probably around 50 texts. And the amount of times that person showed up where they knew I would be, actually stalked me, actually showed up where they knew I was going to be, which Mizkif never did to Emiru, at least 30 to 40 times in that year. Now, the person eventually backed off when I actually, contacted the police, but oh my god. 40 times in 1 year, when you're coworkers, you have all these mutual friends, your lives are so deeply tied together, and you basically co-own businesses together. It's just outrageous. Unbelievably outrageous. And especially, you have to also consider the fact that when she's saying this, saying that he stalked her, it's within the context of her also crying, oh, he SA'd me. And then she describes something, oh, well, as soon as I expressed that I didn't want this, he apologized and left. Exactly what you're supposed to do. Couldn't have handled it better. So when she's describing this him reaching out 40 times in 1 year after they break up, that it's in that context. It's in that context of him being this SA'er, this evil dude, which, in this statement she's made to the court, we know is not the case. Right? So yeah, Mizkif, a douchebag. But he's not this monster that people have made him out to be, that Emiru made him out to be. So him reaching out 40 times, you understand how there's this twist of evil, of this evil context applied to him reaching out that 40 times. That doesn't actually exist. It was never actually there. It was never applicable to their actual situation. So him reaching out 40 times is super innocent. And keep in mind, he knew where she lived. He knew where knows all of her personal friends, because they used to be his personal friends as well. This guy, if he wanted to stalk her, he could have shown up where he knew she would be hundreds of times. But he did 0 times. And there's these videos out there of so many people going after this guy Mizkif because they personally don't like him, because he's kind of a douchebag, because he's abrasive, because he's intense, because he's an asshole. And it's unreasonable. And people are like, oh, well, who cares? The guy's a millionaire. It's not about Mizkif, right? Just like it's not about Johnny Depp, it's not about Andy Signor, it's not about this guy or this guy or this guy who's faced false accusations. It's about it happening to anyone because it could happen to anyone. This happens to tons of people who aren't famous. Just random schmucks. This kind of stuff happens to all the time. So, would you be okay if it was your friend, your brother, your dad, your sister, your mother that something like this happened to? No. Then it would matter to you. Then it would matter a lot to you. Then you would care about this kind of stuff. And it's gross that you don't now. It's gross that it has to happen to you or somebody you know before you care about something. It's so bizarre to me that people are like that, but like, you got to understand that people shouldn't be able to just weaponize terms like SA and stalking or, domestic violins, You shouldn't be able to just throw these terms out willy-nilly and just accuse somebody with literally no evidence. Literally no evidence. And then your own description does not describe SA or stalking at all. I'm sorry, but if anyone should have been canceled in that moment, it absolutely should have been Emiru. Emiru defamed him. I hope that Mizkif wins his case against Emiru. He stands no chance to win his case against Asmongold, because like, what? She said she was SA'd. I just took her at her word, right? He's got that defense. Whereas Emmy actually was in the wrong here, right? Like, Asmon was just sticking up for his friend. Emiru was defaming someone, slandering someone, weaponizing terms, weaponizing the public against this guy, and it's scummy. It's shitty. And I said it in my original video that, like, Emiru seems like the type of person where every ex is this toxic narcissist. And Mizkif does seem like a narcissist, don't get me wrong, but there's certain people out there where every time their relationship ends, the other person was like the most evil person in the world. They're just this evil, toxic ball of surging negativity and hate. And it's just the worst thing in the world and so traumatic. It's a victim card. It's a victim card, and some people play it. And Emiru seems like the type of person that no matter who she dates, no matter how things shake out, she's going to play that card. And that sucks. I hate having to make this video, and I hate having to talk bad about a content creator that I enjoy, that I like, that does cool stuff. Like, Emiru's a real content creator, a real gamer who's like good and puts in effort. She does these cosplay competitions and these cosplays. Like, she's an entertaining content creator. Enormously more entertaining than Mizkif ever was or ever will be. So it sucks. But some people just suck. Like, that's just a really shitty thing that she's done here. And I'm glad that I was proven right. But I'm also not glad that I was proven right, because that means that something bad happened to a person. And yeah, it's a person that you don't like. You don't like Mizkif, and I could probably say I don't like Mizkif. I can tell you that I've never, followed the guy on Twitch. Never went out of my way to watch the guy. If the guy didn't collaborate with content creators that I do enjoy, I would have no reason to have ever watched him at all. Right? I don't think he's that entertaining of a streamer, but he didn't deserve this. No person deserves this. It's twisted, and I hope that people open their eyes and realize that this can happen to anyone, and it does happen to anyone. And this idea, this defense that Emiru's side is making, that although she defines it as SA, a reasonable viewer would unquestionably understand that the term is her own description of what happened to her, not actual SA. The problem with that is that Emiru herself knows unquestionably that the viewers are 98% unreasonable. I think that's a very fair estimate of the reaction of this entire situation. There's that 2% of people who actually critically think about something when they hear it. Like myself, where I'm like, what she described was in no way SA or stalking. This is really backwards and twisted. Yeah, a reasonable person. But I know that I am the very, very, very small minority, and Emiru knows that. So her doing this was defaming Mizkif, was weaponizing terms to wrongfully describe what happened, to add this, she knew that people wouldn't even watch, would just clip the stream and would would just snowball to where easily 90% of people who even know about this at all never even watched the full context of her even version of events in full. Her stream where she exposed Mizkif, 90% of people haven't who know about it never watched it. Never saw the full context of even her side of the story. And the other, like 98%, still got, the other 8% who did, still got it wrong. Still didn't think about it critically. They just hear these buzzwords and they like Emiru because they're Emiru's viewers. They're like, oh, well, I like Emiru. I don't like Mizkif. She says he SA'd her. She says he SA'd her. So, I mean, it must have happened, right? No, it didn't. If you actually listened, if you had your listening ears on, you would know what she described was in no way SA. That what Mizkif did in that situation was exactly what you should do, was exactly the right thing to do, and was definitely not SA.